President Donald Trump has just unveiled a bold new tax relief plan designed to benefit middle-class Americans. If you work for tips, get overtime pay, or rely on Social Security, this plan could mean more money in your pocket. But as you might expect, not everyone is thrilled about this proposal. Democrats and fiscal conservatives alike are already debating whether this is a strategic economic move or just another political play in an election year. Today, we're breaking down exactly what's in Trump's tax plan, what it means for you, and whether it has a chance of passing in Congress. Let's get into it.
So these are the tax priorities of the Trump administration that the president has laid out for members in that meeting today. No tax on tips, which is obviously a very public campaign promise that the president made. No tax on seniors' Social Security. No tax on overtime pay. Renewing President Trump's 2017 middle-class tax cuts. Again, these are the president's priorities. Adjusting the SALT cap, eliminate all the special tax breaks for billionaire sports team owners, close the carried interest tax deduction loophole, tax cuts for Made in America products. This will be the largest tax cut in history for middle-class working Americans. The president is committed to working with Congress to get this done.
So, let's start with the core details. During a meeting with congressional leaders, Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt broke down the key priorities of this plan. Here's what Trump is pushing for. No federal tax on tips. If you're a server, bartender, or anyone who earns gratuities, this could mean bigger paychecks without the IRS taking a cut. No tax on Social Security benefits. Retired seniors could see more financial security without their benefits being taxed. No federal tax on overtime pay. If you work extra hours, you keep 1/8 of your overtime earnings without additional taxes. Renewal of the 2017 tax cuts. Trump is bringing back his signature tax cuts that lowered rates for individuals and businesses. Adjustment of the SALT cap. This affects state and local tax deductions, which could provide relief for homeowners in high-tax states like California and New York. Eliminating tax breaks for the ultra-wealthy. This one is interesting because it signals that Trump is aiming this plan at the middle class, not the top 1%. So, on the surface, this sounds like a win for working Americans, but of course, nothing in politics is ever that simple. And this is where the controversy begins. Now, not everyone is celebrating this announcement. As expected, Democrats are pushing back hard, claiming that these tax cuts will only widen the deficit and benefit wealthy corporations. But here's where things get even more complicated. House Republicans are also divided on this. Just last week, House Republicans failed to reach a deal on a proposed $4 trillion tax cut. Fiscal conservatives are warning that without serious government spending cuts, this plan could explode the national debt. Others argue that the tax plan needs more adjustments before they can fully support it. Meanwhile, over in the Senate, Republicans are trying to move quickly to push Trump's broader legislative agenda forward. Senator Lindsey Graham has already signaled plans to draft a budget resolution that would include funding for border security, military programs, and tax cuts. But how much of Trump's tax plan will actually survive? That remains to be seen. So let's bring it back to the question that really matters. What does this mean for you? If you work a tip job, you could take home significantly more money without taxes on tips. If you're a full-time worker putting in overtime, you'd finally get overtime pay tax-free, meaning higher earnings without penalties. If you own a home in a high-tax state, the SALT cap adjustment could mean a higher deduction on your federal taxes. If you're retired, no taxes on Social Security means more money stays in your bank account. Of course, this all depends on whether the plan gets approved. If Republicans fail to pass it or Democrats block it, these proposed benefits could be dead on arrival. That's why the next few months are critical in determining whether this becomes law. So let's bring it back to the question that really matters. What does this mean for you? If you work a tip job, you could take home significantly more money without taxes on tips. If you're a full-time worker putting in overtime, you'd finally get overtime pay tax-free, meaning higher earnings without penalties. If you own a home in a high-tax state, the SALT cap adjustment could mean a higher deduction on your federal taxes. If you're retired, no taxes on Social Security means more money stays in your bank account. Of course, this all depends on whether the plan gets approved. If Republicans fail to pass it or Democrats block it, these proposed benefits could be dead on arrival. That's why the next few months are critical in determining whether this becomes law. So now, let's hear from you. Do you think Trump's tax plan is exactly what working Americans need? Or is it just another unrealistic election promise? Will this plan actually help the middle class, or is it just political maneuvering? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think this tax plan is a step in the right direction, or are you skeptical? Let's discuss. And if you want more updates on breaking political news, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to stay in the loop. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.